Hey everybody, Corey here with a review. So hopefully the audio levels are good on this. I actually just recorded this and realized I didn't have my mic on at all. So yay. I am doing this with my new setup. So if you watch my live stream video later, you would know that I got a Stream Deck, so I'm able to switch cameras. I got my good camera, I got my potato camera. Uh, and everything else going on. But today's review is about the Infinity Deck by Craig Petty and Lloyd Barnes. And this was something, there was a little bit of hype behind it. Like, I know that Lloyd and Craig's been talking about putting this out for a little bit, but they've not really said much else about it. And then I think the name was revealed about a month or so ago. But let's get into the Infinity Deck. So, it's got the packaging that we're used to seeing from Murphy's and Craig Petty. I have a cat coming in my office. And it's got that nice pull-out drawer. I won't show this because it has the instructions on it, and I'm too lazy to blur crap out. So this is what the deck itself looks like, or the card box. Very disarming, like non-disarming. It's looks like something that you'd pick up. Cat. It looks like something that you'd pick up at like a game store, Barnes and Noble, like a Science-y Smart Kids toy store, for like learning development, things like that, or something that maybe they'd even have in a classroom. So really nice box, very discreet for the most part. Like, it doesn't scream out like this is magic. On the back, you've got these images here, which is actually a crib, and then you've got some quotes, I believe, that are on the back. Yeah, there's a quote, and then like a little description of the deck, and that actually has a revelation built into it. So nice work gone into the box. Again, like I would pull this out and think nothing of it. Like, if someone were to see this just laying in my house, no one's going to think that that has anything to do with magic. The cards themselves are fantastic. So you look at those, like you can't tell that there's anything going on with these cards at all, which I appreciate. There are markings on the back. There are few sets of markings. So there is a marking to say what card you're looking at. There is a marking for the stack order. So I have these in stack now, but like I know that, and they talk about this in the chart, just based off cutting this, I immediately know that I've got 29 cards in this packet that I cut off. So the stack numbers are super easy to read. You can tell pretty much what card it is, based off of the principle that most people will be familiar with. And there's also a marking along the border, which they don't mention in the first couple of videos. It's actually later in a video that they mention the instructions. The instructions you're getting over 6 hours of instructions. So you're getting a lot. Everyone knows, that's a pet peeve of mine. I don't like long instructional videos. It drives me absolutely insane. And they've gotten better at making it more digestible, but we don't need 6 hours of instructions. Most people, when they get this, are only going to do the main routine. And for me personally, I like it better when I get something. I look at them like, okay, here's the main thing I can do with it. And I'm playing around and like, oh, I could do this with it, or I could do this with it. Oh, this would work really good for this. And I feel like when you have those long instructional videos where you've got 6, even 2 hours, but you just have a bunch of stuff, it takes away from that creativity of the hands of the magician that these are going into, because something that you're teaching might be something that they would have thought of, but you're kind of inhibiting that creativity a little bit, in my opinion. I know there's going to be a lot of people who disagree with me on that. Overall, though, it's for the main routine, it's a great effect. I could see myself doing this in my private shows. I would never do this walk around or table hopping. That's just me. There's the reset for the full main routine is too much. They do talk about one that's a little bit quicker, but I don't want to be bothered with that when I'm performing, which I do only do private shows at the table. I don't want to be having to do a bunch. Now, luckily, the main routine with this, there's a lot going on, so it feels like you're doing like a big set with these cards. But I don't like to have to reset things. And if I'm a table hopper or walk around, I wouldn't probably wouldn't be doing this, or this would be something I would save for like the big table or the big group that I know is gonna give me a good reaction. I do have, other than instructions, I wish there was printed instructions for the main routine, because Craig does mention something. It's like, oh, because you've done this, this is how easy it is to do this. He doesn't talk about the first thing. He's never explained how to do what you're doing with the first thing he's saying. So that's also another reason I like printed, because you have proofreaders that are going to read and say, oh, you mentioned that like this is typed out here, but you did not mention this here, so we need to do that. And I feel like in the video editing process, you're doing so much that you skip over some of those things, or because you're making a 6-hour long video and you're going through so much video that you're just skimming. So there is something mentioned in the tutorial that is actually not covered, and it is some prep work to do with the deck. Outside of that, my only other gripe is, and I don't think this isn't going to be exposing much. Well, it won't be exposing anything. So if you've watched any performance by Craig or Lloyd, you know there's a final reveal where you have the phrase, "I believe I can influence what you choose." And that's where my gripe comes in. So the U is a yew tree. Most of your common people aren't going to know what a yew tree is. So they're going to, if you say a yew tree, they might nod their head in agreement, or they might pull out their phone like, what the hell is a yew tree? And I think this becomes a thing with it being something that's come from England, because the other thing is the gummies, or what they call chews. These are gummies. In America, these are gummies. They're not chews. No one calls anything chews over here. Unless it's maybe a Starburst, you might be able to get away with calling it chew, or high chews. But this is a picture of gummies. So people, when you do this in the States, you are going to get some weird looks. So I would have probably preferred the yew tree, to be more like, honestly, 2 extra cards to make it works better for in the US. The yew tree, I think you could have gone away with doing a giant yew with light bulbs in it, like a big sign piece. Like it would have been, more on the nose, but I think that would have worked out better. Or a no U-turn sign, or a U-turn sign. And the chews, for the chews, these are gummies, I would have done probably like a pile of Starburst or something like that to make it more obvious, because when you deal these down in the States, someone's going to say, you're going to say chews, and they're going to say those are gummies. Like there's gummy worms, there's gummy bears, there's gummy fish. So that just becomes, again, that's a pet peeve of mine. It just becomes something that here in the States, it becomes a little bit more, I don't want to say problematic. It's because it's not problematic. It's just, it becomes a little, it's something that we're not familiar with in the States. Like, you might talk to someone that might know what a yew tree is. I've never heard of a yew tree in my life. And I know there's going to be some smart ass comments on here. This is, well, that's the American education system. But I've never once heard of a yew tree. So, those are my kind of my complaints. But overall, $35 for this. You're going to use it. So if you're interested in it, I'd pick it up. I probably would have had the price point a little bit lower. To probably have it 30 at the highest. But I understand the pricing of Magic. I understand why it's priced the way it is. But I think 25 to 30 bucks for this would have been perfect. If you have Evoke, do you need to get this? I would say probably, like, again, if you want it, I would get it. But if you're doing Evoke and you don't have a lot of interest in this, or you're on the fence, then maybe it's something you ask for Christmas or your birthday, or you pick it up if you got some extra money. Because Evoke is great, but I do think that's more mentalism, where this is more, there's a lot more magical aspects you can put to this. So yeah, I would put it up there as a buy if you're in the market for it, if you've been interested in it, because I do think it's a really solid little trick. And again, the main thing that I'd probably ever do out of it would be the primary routine. There's some other stuff. I've got to look back through some of the videos because I have a lot of stuff that plays in the background. But yeah, worth picking up. 35 bucks. You can get it at Vanishing Ink. You can get it really anywhere that magic tricks are sold. And if you have it, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you agree, disagree with me on? Are you using it in walk around, or have you already implemented it into your work? Again, like for me personally, I wouldn't use it in walk around. I don't like things that have a lot of reset. And again, I don't really do walk around. No, people can't afford my walk around prices, and my walk around prices are so high because of my back. I can't do that. So definitely Infinity Deck, pick it up. It's pretty close. Like, I won't call it perfect. I'm gonna ding it a little bit because of no written instructions for at least the main routine. There is something that's mentioned in prep work that they actually do not tell you to do in the instructions, and I think including 2 extra cards to replace the gummies and the tree with something that actually makes more sense as a U and a chew would be better. So I'm going to give it 4 stars. 4 out of 5. 8 out of 10. However you want to see it. But that's my review. I want to thank you for sticking through this video and watching it. If you want to support my channel, I don't have any kind of thing through YouTube, but you can buy me a coffee over on buymeacoffee.com/Corey Harris and donate whatever you want. You don't have to donate at all. Obviously, I'm going to keep making these horrible videos because I suck at this, but I'm going to keep going because practice makes perfect. But until next time, thank you for watching, and we will catch you on the next video.